boy Stevie Jobber. It's your boy Dangerous Duke. The Dangerous Jobbers podcast. Wait a one. The boy Stevie Jobber. Dangerous Duke. Stay dangerous.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, I'm your boy Stevie Jobber.
And I'm your boy Dangerous Duke.
Welcome back to the Dangerous Jobbers podcast, putting wrestling over one podcast at a time.
Yes, sir.
And the time has come. A prophet once said, the time is now. It's time for the biggest show of the year. It's time for WrestleMania predictions. We're gonna split it in half because we could end up having a lot to talk about. You never know. The cards are short, but there's a lot of substance. We have early predictions about what night is better off the rip. We talked about it off cam. We'll get into it later. But I just want to run them down. We'll do. I put them in what I think might be. I'm also predicting the match card. As far as order. So I'm doing that, and we're going match by match for night one, match by match for night two, and we're splitting it in half. We're doing night one on this video. The video you're watching right now, this is night one. If you're looking for night two and you're watching it on Monday, it's not out. If you're watching it past Monday, it's probably out now. So just getting into night one, I think they start heavy with a banger. Got to be a world title match. And if we already know what the main event is, then the title match has to be the world title. So we open up night one in Las Vegas with the underdog, Jey Uso, the man who no longer fears Gunther, for the World Heavyweight Championship. Does Gunther do what he does best and spoil the hopes and dreams of wrestlers and fans alike and walk out victorious again? Or does Jey Uso truly become a main event player and get his first world championship? Something that prior to 2020, you could have never convinced me was going to happen.
No.
I would have thought they'd ran their course. You know, there'll be singles guys, but I've never seen anybody do it to the level that a Matt and Jeff has. You know, that are genuine brothers. But here we are, 2025, Las Vegas. Some people would say nobody wants him to win. Some people would say everyone wants him to win. What do you think? Who is coming out on top?
See, now this is tough because if you'd have asked me this a month ago, I would have probably said Jey. But then given the traction of their story and how it feels, like it's kind of feel like it's just it was hot and heavy fast, and then now it's just all of a sudden it's like in the carpool lane, given everything else that's going on. So I don't know, and I'm gonna err on the side of caution here. I'm gonna say Gunther.
He is the safe bet.
Yeah. Now if Jey wins, I wouldn't be upset about it. It's just they haven't really made this a big deal, which makes me think, it's probably not a big deal. And that's why I'm kind of going to lean towards Gunther on this one.
Okay, we're starting at odds. I like it. It feels like where we thrive. I'm gonna go Jey. I think Jey and that last promo really there's something about these hood Samoans. It's when they don't really promo and they just kind of say we're early in the pod, I'm not gonna curse, but they just really start talking.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I do love the no branding, like deep promo Jay gave on Monday.
Mm-hmm.
And you really had to stick with him because he was really trying to go somewhere with it. When he was like, do you call your mom? Do you love your mom? Do you talk to her? What do you say to her?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I had to say to my mom? It's like, oh, he started touching. He started taking it to a place, and then when he arrived at the I'm no longer scared of you. I was like, okay, and I was still feeling like you, like it still doesn't feel like it's leaning his way, right? But I'll tell you this: what changed it for me was he said the line that I ain't hear him say in a minute, and it got me feeling like 2020 again.
Okay.
If it had me feeling full circle, right? You talk about what he had to do to get where he's at, and when he hit the line after the whole, I apologize to ask God to forgive me for the man I'm about to become. He hit the at WrestleMania. I'm gonna get you,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know. It gave me goosebumps. I know what it means when Jey Uso about to get somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And he ain't been getting people in a minute.
No.
But when he was getting people, he was beating AJ Styles clean in the main event.
Mm-hmm.
That's Jey Uso when he used to get people.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I was like, that was the Jey Uso we thought could have beat Roman.
Yeah, sure.
So to me, in the story of it all, the throwback lines that he had to go to, I don't know. It tapping into that Jey Uso and that being kind of the storyline of it is how does Jey get to the level he needs to be at? When you arrive at that, touching my face, Jey Uso, that's a different guy, man. That's a different guy. So I don't know. I'm going Jey Uso. I just feel
Mm.
like in the context of that promo, I think that's the guy I needed to believe in.
Okay. I can understand it.
Um, After that, we go to, I don't want to say the least, because it's not. I don't want to say the least anticipated because it's not.
Mm-hmm.
It's, but it's definitely an undercard match. We got El Grande Americano,
Mm-hmm.
the greatest luchador of all time,
Yeah.
against the second greatest luchador of all time, Rey Mysterio. Uh, I really hope that they take this Monday that this is coming out on to make it a mass versus mass match. That would really add a little spice to it, give it what I feel like it needs. It needs that.
Mm-hmm.
I need to get that close. I need to get the 12-year-olds that close to thinking Rey Mysterio might get his mask taken. Before we just tell you it's Chad Gable because we already know it's Chad Gable. But I think they're gonna put on a great match. Like, I don't think you want to go to the bathroom on this match. There's a match later, maybe,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't think you want to miss. I think given, and you got to remember, these guys are like wrestlers.
Yeah,
You give
yeah.
these guys 10, 12 minutes,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to get like a brilliant match. They
Yeah.
don't need a lot of time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So But who do you think is walking away with it? I'll tell you early, I'm going Rey Mysterio.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, me too. I agree with you on if it was a mass versus mass match, that would make it a little more exciting.
Mhm.
Um, and you even hit the nail on the head. You can give them 8, 10, 12 minutes, and it's still going to be a quality match because their styles fit very, very well.
Mhm.
So, doesn't need to be a long match. Don't need to go to the bathroom for this match because even though it's not really appealing storyline wise, on paper, it makes sense. It makes stylistic sense.
Mhm.
So, I'm going to go Ray, and I agree with the mass versus mass dynamic. I think that would be great. And that's where I'm at on it.
And not for nothing, like I see some people on the fence about uh Chad Gable, who again is left off the WrestleMania card,
Yeah, right? Like,
which is crazy to me. But I will say, if everyone's theory was to be true, that it was Chad Gable, even though it's not clearly because there
no.
was, I mean, come on,
Yeah,
um,
two different people.
totally different people. Um, I do think getting Rey Mysterio at WrestleMania is significantly better than building a story to be the guy to take the Intercontinental Championship off of Gunther for them to give your story to Sami Zayn.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? I think it's significantly better than just not being on the card. So, for what it's worth, it's a step up from last year.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I'm gonna go Ray. I'm gonna go Ray. But it would be more exciting if they made it a match versus match because at least then something would feel at stake. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
But it is what it is. The match I have following that, I think we have two very different opinions on. Um, but it'll be interesting to talk about. Jade versus Naomi. Where's your interest at? Who do you think is going to win?
So on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being not very interested in this match and 10 being I'm very invested in this, like this is my top priority. This hits at about a 7 for me, 7.5, maybe even, yeah, 7.5, 7, 7.5 around there. Um, it's been one of the stories they've been working on since War Games, even a little bit before War Games. So, and it had everybody thinking for a minute, like, is it this person? Is it this person? What have you? It ended up being the person that everybody assumed it was, which isn't a bad thing, but they made it kind of funny and kind of interesting.
Mhm.
So I'm here for it. I'm more invested to see where it goes after this. So maybe that's why it's kind of got my interest a little more. Like, all right, we know you got to hit this point, but once you hit this point, what's next?
Mhm.
And you don't really know what's next. So that's why my interest is intrigued for this match. And I'm gonna go Jade on this. I feel like I don't think Naomi has a shot here. It's nice to see you as a heel, but I don't see Naomi pulling out a victory here unless some trickery comes into play.
Okay, we're not too far off from each other. Um, my feelings are, I really hope this. I really hope this match is good. Like I don't want to say I have high expectations,
Mm-hmm.
but it would be nice. It would be nice,
Mm-hmm.
and I feel like it would be very validating for those involved
Yes.
if they were to have a banger.
Mm-hmm.
And not for nothing, if I was Paul,
Which Paul?
live that live, I don't know.
Jean Paul.
Jean Paul Levy.
Okay.
Um, if I was Paul, I would have an expectation of a banger. I say that because Jade has had a few years in now,
Mm-hmm.
and with not a lot of time to get her matches off, she has always made a very good impression. And she
Yes.
is in there with probably one of the best for a number of years now.
Mm-hmm.
At least the most athletic, the most consistent, one of the best, you know, workers over the past since the Funkadactyls.
Inside and outside of the WWE. Let's not forget that.
Inside and validated outside with the best.
Mm-hmm.
So if I was Paul, I would have an expectation of a banger. And it would be very validating for those involved to pull it off.
To succeed. Yes.
Because Jade needs to be Jade. And the only thing that was stopping Jade from being Jade, maybe one was learning the system, but two was having the validating momentum to be on your own and stay in the waters.
Yep.
And you needed a good first person. And we didn't have one, and we couldn't just make one up. We didn't want to go the Vince McMahon route and just make up a reason.
Yeah.
So we built one. So your biggest job now is to be Jade on the stage we've set for you to be Jade. We've Goldberged you up to knock this out of the park. So
I think
you have to deliver a banger.
like her Mania entrance is going to be badass too.
Oh, she's got to be in full, like, Marvel better sponsor her goddamn entrance. Like,
Mm-hmm.
like it better be out of this world, man.
Yeah.
It better be a storm. Like, they better make synthetic rain or some shit. I don't know. But, but like,
Get hit with a
seriously.
cease and desist from Mickey Mouse. Why not?
But like something, it's gotta be incredible. But also I feel like that could be the same thing for Naomi. Like, I've seen Naomi the first time Naomi was a bad guy. You didn't get a whole lot of her mic skills.
Mm-hmm.
And they probably wouldn't have been good at the time anyway, considering the other two people she was in the group with. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but now seeing the promos they've given her and the motive behind it, like, everything she's saying feels validating. It feels like it's her talking. It feels like she's able to get her ish off about being dumped by WWE for trying to stand up for herself, validating herself on the indies and coming back to being the middle of the card, and us all kind of feeling like she deserved more than that. Like, this is a validating motive.
Mm-hmm.
And you got a good phrase, proceed with caution, which is a throwback to anybody that knows you from the first time you were a bad guy. Like, I feel like she's got a good ball rolling. So to deliver a banger and then get beat by Jade, because let's face it, you're gonna have to get beat by Jade.
Mm-hmm.
It's it's the layup here. It's the alley oop, if you will,
Yeah.
is for you to get destroyed by Jade. But if y'all can make a banger out of it, you come off better.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Um, so I feel deeply about it. I'm anticipating the match because I would really like it to be nice. I would really like um to be blown away. That being said, I'm going Jade. We both going Jade. Let's move on. United States title match. LA Knight, Jacob Fatu. Um, I don't have much to say. Jacob.
I don't have much to say. Jacob. love you,
There's
LA Knight.
not
But
really much to say here.
yeah, love you, LA Knight. You've been great. You got rid of you ended a lackluster run for Shinsuke, and in return, we've gotten another lackluster run. So give a title to the bloodline and let the bloodline do what the bloodline does and elevate some stuff that they need to elevate. Jacob. Love you though.
Basically, I loved your work into today.
Hmm.
My dad would
Yeah.
probably be very happy about this one.
Yeah.
Me personally, I don't root against Jacob Fatu. Never have, never will. Didn't do it in MLW, won't do it here. Um, he's a monster.
You know
He's a monster, and he deserves the world.
you know what I'm gonna need you to do? Play the clip of what I just said about LA Knight and show it to Pops for me and let me know what Pop says.
Facts. I will do that. I will do that. I will clip that up. Yo, like, yeah, not really much to say here, man.
Yeah.
You seen Jacob Fatu. You tell me
Hmm.
who's gonna win.
Yeah.
You tell me how this is gonna go.
That's a big boy.
Yeah. All right, what do we got after that? After that, I got the match that probably is the bathroom break. Um, I really don't even know how this got on the card.
Yeah.
I don't know how it got on the card because I feel like the SmackDown titles are worth so much more.
Oh yeah.
So for SmackDown to not make the card and this to make the card is very left field for me. Very left field for me. And you know what? I shouldn't be super upset. There's black men challenging for a title at WrestleMania, you know. But I just don't care about this match at all. Like you haven't done a lot to help the New Day. You haven't done a lot to help the War Raiders. I don't know, man. Like I don't care anymore about the War Raiders. Like I feel like they're validated, but I feel like they're validated in the way that like FTR was validated as a tag team before they let them go. Like, you know what I mean? Like, sure, it means you're who you need to be again, but why do I care? I don't really care. They haven't made me care about it. You just are back to, whooping behind, which is
I
great. But like,
I think the better match to put on the card would have been the Profits versus the Guns for Mania because one, you get the Profits showcased on WrestleMania. Now, granted, they were on last year with Bobby and um the Final Testament.
mhm.
But they had a great match. They did great in that match, and then they finally got relevant this year, winning tag gold. And then you can put them in with the new tag team that you just signed, the former champions, the two guys who have never been on a WrestleMania card but have wrestled for 20 years. And the last time these guys wrestled on a regular show, the match was great. So put them on Mania and let them be great again. I feel like that recipe was a lot easier to throw together than the New Day and than the New Day and the War Raiders or the Viking Raiders or whatever the hell their name is now.
You've hit the
So
nail right on the head, man. You hit the nail right on the head. Like, I could not have said it better. That was the crucial mistake. How much more substance was in those SmackDown titles? I don't get. There's no story on Raw. There's no
so
story for the War Raiders and the New Day. The New
so
Day turned heel and got here somehow. The
yeah,
War Raiders got to the title somehow.
and got here.
Like there's no story. Like the Street Profits had an arc. The Machine Guns started at the top of the year and then worked their way all the way back. They actually have a story. Like they're the veterans. Street Profits have worked this hard to get here. The Motor City Machine Guns have been on these kinds of stages for so long. Like, why wouldn't you have chosen the match with more meat on the bone? I don't care about this match. This should have been on Monday Night Raw. This should have been a Monday Night Raw title match, not Street Profits versus the Guns. Sorry.
So, with that being said, the winner is nobody and the loser is all of us for having to watch this. No, let me stop.
The New Day better win, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, that's the only reason I could think that you're putting this on Mania. If the Viking Raiders win, or the War Raiders, I really don't even know what their name is. If they win,
I think it's War Raiders.
it's redundant. It probably is War Raiders, but if they win, this match was pointless.
If the War Raiders win, this match is pointless. If
So
the New Day wins, I somehow they've turned heel, won the titles. I don't care.
yeah, that's the only way this makes any this that's the only way this even has a shred of logical sense.
Which really is disappointing to me that you can turn heel against Big E that big of a way, and then your build up to getting the titles back at WrestleMania is just not as enjoyable as anything else. The 1 year that like New Day does not kill it on the road to WrestleMania.
Yeah. This will be the bathroom break match, ladies and gentlemen, for night one.
I would have seen the Guns. I would have rather seen the Guns.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I would have rather seen Pretty Deadly.
right? I would have rather seen the tag ladder match that I thought I was gonna get. That's what I thought I was getting. Because that SmackDown tag division got so much, it got so much better creative. Like I don't know.
Meanwhile, the Raw tag division is stinky poo poo.
Where is it? I don't even know what it is really. We'll talk about it another day. What I think is the co-main event. I will say now in retrospect, I believe that Charlotte maybe should have went the other way, and it could have made for a better story between both of these people. Because I think you could have done a better Nia Jax versus Tiffany Stratton, and you could have done Charlotte versus Io with Rhea, and then been better. And then you could have had the triple threat with it. Anyway, I don't know who should. See, this is tough. Charlotte Flair versus Tiffany Stratton. Give me your thoughts.
They've been coming at each other a lot. They have gotten personal.
Mm-hmm.
It has gotten ugly.
Mm-hmm.
And that's everything you want when you're thinking of big stakes with a lot on the line.
Mm-hmm.
But in having them do all that, they've also gotten to a point where I am not very like I'm interested in the match, but I'm not interested in the match. I'm interested in the sense of they've aired out a lot of dirty laundry,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm also not interested because it hasn't felt right.
Yeah.
Um, Now when it comes to picking a winner, I just hope we can get to the destination without the match feeling awkward. But I'm gonna go. I feel like I've been on the heel train this whole night, so I'm just gonna go with Tiffany Stratton on this one.
It's really been like I know I said a few weeks ago I was watching the back and forth promo and I said it was horrible.
Mm-hmm.
Um, do I still feel that way? Yeah, yeah. And looking at the build up, like I feel like because of that train wreck, it brought a little something to it. Not that the story got better, but like, man, what are they gonna do to save this now?
Mm-hmm.
And then you get, the brawl, which is I feel like is what I said last week, or whenever I trashed this.
Mm-hmm.
What I said last week was like their best option now.
Yeah.
So that's what they did. They brawled. And I don't know, man. Sometimes I just feel like I'm watching a train wreck, like,
Yeah.
and I just can't wait for it to be over. Like I don't. I just feel so bad for Charlotte. This is not the way her comeback should have been going.
Not at all.
I should have been up here talking my Charlotte crap that I talk every year.
Yeah.
About how she about to take it again because that's what she do. And this year, I don't feel like that's the case. I feel like she came back and I don't know. I don't know. I
It
don't know
ain't
if she
been.
lost the mojo. I don't know if the fans just wouldn't let it go. I don't know if I don't know. I don't know what it is, but it don't feel like it feels every other year.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I'm going Tiffany Stratton. I feel like she about to take it. I feel like she about to absorb your soul and get stronger. Like, like I don't. It feels like watching a Dementor, like that looks just like
We had to go with the
just
Dementor.
just just suck all the relevancy out of her character and like leave her
Mm-hmm.
lifeless. It's crazy. It's the wildest thing in the world I'm watching right in front of me. Um, so I just can't wait for it to be over. And I feel so bad for Charlotte because this should be number 15, I think.
Yeah, but you might have to
This
wait a
should
little
be
bit longer.
big 1-5 for you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it's not going to be because we can't put a title on that.
Not right this moment.
We cannot do that.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely not. Um, so I'm going Tiffany Stratton. And then we get to the main event. We get
Hmm.
to CM Punk, Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins for nothing but validation, I guess. These are three of the best. Let me put some sauce on it. These are three of the very best in the world. Say what you will about people in other companies. These are three of the very best in the world. On paper, in the ring, on film, if you go back, you know, Roman may have only been in WWE, but two of them had pretty great indie careers before this. And Roman happens to be the longest reigning champion in the last 10, 15 years.
Longer,
Maybe
but yeah.
longer than 20 something years, at
Yeah.
least as long as I've been alive.
Mm-hmm.
So you have three of the very best in the main event, um, and potentially have CM Punk at his very best because he will have Paul Heyman by his side. What does this mean? What does this do? Who's gonna win? Put it all together for me.
So, so we're in a very interesting spot here. We have the tribal chief, the architect, and the Paul Heyman guy. Um, Finally in his main event, the spot he's always wanted to be in, with the help of the tribal chief's wise man, his best friend,
Mm-hmm.
who will be escorting him down the ramp and be in his corner at WrestleMania. Now we have a Roman Reigns in a spot where he doesn't like to be in, a spot where he doesn't thrive in. We have a Roman Reigns without his wise man. Then we have CM Punk main eventing with his best friend in his corner. And then we have the visionary Seth Rollins. A couple weeks ago, I might have said CM Punk or I might have said Roman Reigns. But right now, in this given moment, I'm going with the visionary
Mm-hmm.
because now that Paul Heyman is out here handing out favors left and right, willy nilly, now he finds himself in the predicament of owing Seth Rollins a favor.
Mm-hmm.
So now, question is, what is that favor? I think that favor is going to be when the time comes, Paul has to help Seth. And
Mhm.
that time's gonna come at WrestleMania. Now, who that means gets screwed over here, I don't know, but I want to say that means CM Punk gets screwed over because last year Seth already screwed Roman. Technically, he already screwed Roman
Mhm.
by costing Roman the title, and then Roman got to screw Seth by putting a chair in his back. So those two don't really need to screw each other.
Mhm.
Punk already screwed Roman by taking the wise man, and
Mhm.
then Seth by not stomping Paul. Now Paul owes him a favor. I think that favor is going to be, yeah, you walked your friend down the ramp at Mania. You were in his corner for the main event. But when the time comes, I'm going to need you to make sure I win. And I think Seth is going to pull it out.
Mhm. Either that or to save him at least once.
Save him from a spear, you mean? Or
Save him
from a
from a
whatever?
spear, pull him out of the ring during the 3 count, something.
Put his foot on the ropes.
Something that would have otherwise cost him the match.
But
At
who
least
would
one time.
but then who would he cost in that moment? Like who do you think
Doesn't
would be?
matter. It's gonna piss
Uh,
off whoever it is.
it
Whoever
kind
it
of
is gonna piss him off.
I think it kind of matters just a teeny tiny bit.
Unless but you know what? I think
Because
it'd be crazier if it was Punk.
yeah.
Because if it was Punk, then Punk has to go, are you doing that? Are you turning on me for Roman?
No.
But Punk will think
Oh
that.
wait,
Punk
yeah,
doesn't
I see
know.
what you mean. I see what you mean. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then you find out, nah, he didn't. I didn't do it for him. I did it as the favorite. It was Seth's
Yeah.
favorite. But otherwise, that would be the one moment where Punk would have won the match.
Mm-hmm.
You never know. You never know. Um, I'm glad you said Seth. I'm glad you said Seth. I want to say Seth because I feel like without Paul Heyman, wrestling math tells me Roman is probably not going to win. You're talking about the man that couldn't beat Solo Sikoa without Paul Heyman. He's probably going to lose. He's in shambles. He has no idea what he's doing. He can't put it together.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say without a Paul Heyman, Seth Rollins for certain has always had Roman's number. There's not one time he hasn't beaten Roman,
Yeah.
minus the Paul Heyman by his side.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so Seth must have that in the bag. And then you get down to Seth and Punk, who at the end of the day, I believe on any given night, Seth could beat Punk. Um, because their fight is kind of a never ending, I just believe I'm better than you kind of fight. And that can go
Mm-hmm.
on forever. That's
Yeah.
one of those things where any given night, that's not to be taboo, but that's like Kurt and Benoit. On any
Yeah.
given
Yeah.
night, either of them could win and it would cost neither of them anything.
Exactly.
Um, so I feel like, okay, now you can go with Seth.
Yeah.
But the factor for me is if Paul is loyal, CM Punk to me is unstoppable.
Anybody with Paul in their corner is unstoppable.
Anybody with Paul in their corner, I mean, do the math. Anybody with Paul Heyman in their corner.
One of us could be in that triple threat match with Paul Heyman in our corner, and still we would find a way to win
You
with
would at
Paul
least
Heyman.
have to consider it. You would
Yeah.
at least have to consider that Paul has a thing going somehow.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you just become better unless you're like Curtis
Curtis
Axel.
Axel.
I mean, even Cesaro turned out okay. Like,
Jinx, you owe me a soda.
All right, we digress. I think, but yeah, with Paul in your corner, you're pretty much unstoppable. So an unloyal Paul, though, is a rocky road. It's a
hmm
slippery slope because if you can't trust Paul, if Paul's playing for a different team, ultimately, whatever Paul wants to happen is going to happen,
Yeah.
or whatever he's manipulating into making happen is going to happen.
Yeah.
And I don't, at a WrestleMania stage, I pretty much see Seth Rollins like Shawn Michaels. It don't cost him nothing to lose, but he's a different guy at WrestleMania.
hmm
And I don't put his brain past anybody.
Yeah.
So whatever he has planned for Paul Heyman, as the guy who's calculated this all the time, this whole time he's just kind of watched Roman fail. He's kind of been the voice of reason, the guy that's always been right about everything he said. You know, he's been the positive equivalent to Kevin Owens. Like he's told nothing but truths. So he foresaw this whole thing coming. Who's to say he hasn't planned 3 steps ahead?
He is he is quite possibly the Doctor Strange of WWE.
So even though he's the dark horse, the wild card, I am also going to go with Seth Rollins.
Hmm.
So where do we land on this? Let me look at the list real quick as we tie up night one, and see how many things we disagreed on. We're the same on the main event.
Yep.
We're the same on the co-main event.
hmm
We have to be the same on the event before that. We're both going Jacob. We pretty much agreed on everything
Except for Gunther and Jey.
except for Gunther and Jey. Damn. So that's what it really comes down to. It
Yeah.
really comes down to Gunther and Jey. Gunther and Jey and the triple threat. But really Gunther and Jey. Like that's the one I'm really interested in.
hmm
Because really want Jey to pull it off.
And I do too, but
I think it would piss off a ton of people too.
yeah.
Which I also would be pretty entertained by. But yeah, I feel like
I feel
he's
like
got a lot of fire, man. There's nowhere else to go but to give him a world title. There's nowhere else to go.
yeah.
I kept that concept in the back of my head too. If all right, here's a tagline for us before we end night one.
hmm
Here's a tagline for us. If Jey Uso cannot win at WrestleMania for the World Heavyweight Championship against Gunther, he can't really be the main event. He can't really be main event Jey Uso if you can't main event.
But is he
This
main eventing?
is this is the stage. Yes, but even if you're not, you know, if your first match out, even Seth Rollins has started first match out for the World Heavyweight Championship. At WrestleMania, that's as good as you're gonna get. What I'm saying though is from here on out, that
Yeah.
World Heavyweight Championship makes you a main event. Like
hmm
it solidifies you as that level of guy. Jeff Hardy was always a main eventer to us, but until he won that belt from people that he wasn't really virtually talked about in conversations with, he wasn't really a main eventer.
So by that standard, Jinder Mahal is a main eventer.
Yes, but that's what I'm saying. I mean, hey, it's the truth. It's the truth. It's the truth. He held it for 6 months. It was a terrible 6 months, but he's a legitimate main eventer. Like, put it this way, put it this way, put it this way, put it this way. All right, I'm about to really make you laugh. And we're going way off, so I need to wrap it up after this. I was watching the MLW Battle Riot, and Alexander Hammerstone comes out first, and I'm like, oh, this guy. couple spots later, Jinder Mahal comes out, and I'm like, oh snap, Jinder Mahal's in this. It's that level of like, at least he's.
We have two different standards on that, but we digress.
Okay. We need to wrap it up. How did we get here? This is about WrestleMania. Guys, tell us what you think. We are doing a part 2 that will be dropping the day after this. So leave us your comments for night 1. Tell us if we were off base. Tell us what you really think about Jey Uso. Tell us what you really think about the favor. What you really think about the triple threat. What you really think about Charlotte and Tiffany.
What you really think about gender.
What you really don't hinder the gender. That's it for night 1. I'll do a better wrap up on night 2. But if you're listening this far, hit the link in the description. Before you go, leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. That is night 1.